Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be showing you all the things I've learned in 1 year of self-taught GE flipping. So this video is to teach you guys how you can passively build up money while still having free time to do PVM content or leveling up your skills, whatever, working towards whatever your next goal is. So first we're going to start with prerequisites. The prerequisites are, just one second, I'm going to join my own chat so I can type them out. Yep, I'm the only one in here. So anyway, prerequisites 1. Bare minimum 1 mil GP. Okay, so absolute bare minimum, you need 1 mil cash. If you're totally broke, liquefy some things in the bank to get the GP on hand. You might have to sell like a few potions or some food or just whatever. If you have a Slayer tab, something like that. Just to get the GP on hand, you need at least 1 mil. The best starting area is around 5 mil, but 1 mil you can start flipping for sure. During the video, I'm also going to teach what items to attempt flipping based on the size of your cash stack at that moment, and we'll do examples at like 1 mil, 10 mil, 30 to 50 mil, and then like 100 mil. Okay, so the second prerequisite, and this is the most important one, Prices.runescape.wiki. This is, sorry, my phone rang. Okay, so this website is your most important tool. It allows you to track price trends. Okay, I'm going to show you that now. So I'm just going to go to the home page here, but this allows you to track price trends for any item throughout the day. And typically this is the green is your low price, the orange is your high price, and it can be a bit confusing at first, but this is how you're going to decipher margins and determine what flips are good or not. Okay, so anyway, back to the wiki. You can also track item volume and a lot more important stuff that I'll go over later. So bookmark the page, bookmark favorites, prices, okay, prices from the OSRS wiki, or home, prices from the OSRS wiki. Bookmark that and use it every single time you log in. Split your screen kind of like I have, and then log in. And then you can pull up your favorites list. And from there, you'll add favorites as you go, so every item has an option right here. You can heart it and favorite it, and then it appears on your favorites list, and that's how you keep track of things that you've successfully flipped. Alright, so those two things are the only absolute necessities, okay? Other than that, just be comfortable using the calculator app. You have to do a lot of minor math for your GE margins. Let me show you for a second. So I'll look at my history, and I can add my ancient hilt, for 32,290, 476, plus the 478,999 that I paid for the Godsword blade, and I get 32,769, 475. And then earlier, I sold the ancient Godsword for 34,452k. 34,452,000. Gave me a profit. Ignore that negative, I did the math backwards, but it gave me a profit of 1.6 mil. So you need to be comfortable using basic concepts like that with your calculator, and also always be aware of the 1% GE tax. So for example, I sold these at 2,796,000 each. 2,976,000 times 0.99, so 99%. I'm actually selling them for 2,946. 2.946 mil. so the profit is a little less, okay? And the higher value items that you go, the more the 1% tax affects you. A good example would be like the Nightmare Staff, which always has a solid margin, so like 1 mil, but 1% of 62 mil is 620K. So this 1,050,000 gets cut down. What the hell? Did I do that wrong? I did. I think I added an extra 0. Yeah, there we go. Gets cut down to a 430K profit for a 62 mil investment. That's not really worth it. But yeah, be comfortable with the 1% GE tax and the basic adding, and being able to multiply by like the amount you bought by and stuff like that, and you'll be fine. Okay. So third will be calculator app. Oops. Oh, man, I thought I typed that in public. Okay. So in the video, I'm going to make calculations for the example flips just so you guys can kind of get the hang and the rhythm of how I'm doing it. And then for the flipping methods, I'm going to cover what I think are the main 3 methods. So 3 main flipping methods. 1. Flipping. Easy way to start. Okay, so this is exactly what it sounds like. You buy an item low and sell it high. A good example of that would be these Bloodbark helms that I just flipped. Okay, sold them for 70,500 each. So 70,500 times 0.99 times 66 of them, 4.606470, which is exactly what it shows here. Okay, now I checked my history and I bought 66. I actually bought 70, but let me find the other. There we go. I bought them for 4,789,120. All right, so let me add the 4 here. Okay, so it actually comes out even. There we go. So plus 298,980. Plus 298,980. All right. And then I subtract the initial 70 that I bought it for, minus 4,789,120. And I made a profit of 116K off of 70 Bloodbark helms, about a 5 mil investment, 116K profit. Not the best, but decent. So that's what flipping is. And there's kind of 2 different categories that you can go about it. You can use low value items such as the Bloodbark helm, they're only 68K each. Or you can use a high value low volume item, which tend to be more volatile but also higher profit per. Good example is the gilded boots. So it looks like I sold them for 2103,750. And I bought them for, damn it, 1601. Damn, that's a good profit. 1601,000. Yeah, I made a 502K profit off gilded boots. So those tend to be more volatile, though. Those are not guaranteed flips. Like right now, I'm going to check the gilded boots, and I bet you they're nowhere near that margin. Yeah, they're at a 215K margin. And the way you deduce margin is pretty easy. It's just subtracting the lower value from the higher value, right? And that's the last price they insta-bought at and insta-sold at. All right, so this actually is a pretty good looking margin. Margin is something I wanted to talk about with this method in particular, because you need to keep an eye on margin. This is a really healthy one that has been like this all day. When they aren't touching and they have a few 100K between them, that means your next trade is likely to happen around the same amounts that they happened at in here. So if I were to put in an offer for gilded boots right now, I would put in an offer that outdoes the second highest recent offer. So that would be here at 1.875. I'd probably make it a clean 1,901K. Okay, so I'm gonna go for that now. So put my buy offer right here. Okay, where my mouse is. So set it for 1901K. And then when they buy, I am going to sell them for probably 2079K. Alright, so let's do the math on that real quick. 2079 times 0.99, because we're got to factor in the 1% sell tax, and then we subtract our 1,901,000. Sorry, I know I'm saying the numbers weird, but this is just how they work out in my brain. And I ended up making a profit of, or I will end up making a profit of 157K. So those are a low volume item. Daily volume is only 49. So that kind of thing will make prices more volatile. But if you see a healthy margin like this, it's a good bet. I'm going to show you an example of a bad margin. So here's a great one. All right, this is the Ancient Wyvern Shield, still pretty low volume. 138 is quite low. And the daily volume just means how much it's traded each day. So anyway, this margin is very misleading right now, because you look at it and you say, wow, 709K, even after tax, that's like around a 500K profit. But you see how here the margin is tiny. It's about 400K minus the 200K for the tax, and you're looking at like 30K profit, something like that. Because it's like 230, so I guess like 170K profit, but nowhere near the initial 500 you thought you'd be getting, because they have, these items tend to have high random spikes, and then they immediately will plummet back down, and you end up losing money. So in general, just be wary of the low volume items, because they can change price rapidly. Okay, so yeah, we're still on method 1, flipping. It's really simple and straightforward. The math is really easy. I already told you guys about margins, and I already told you guys about the random spikes. So clue items in general often fall in this category. Ancient Wyvern Shield's not one of them, but on my favorites page you'll see a lot of, like, I've got the Ancient D'hide boots, Ancient Cloaks, Anku equipment. I've got like all the God D'hides, got the Dragon Plate Body Ornament Kit, all the gilded equipment. Those are all clue rewards with like a value around 1 mil. So the downside for this one is, like, you do have the potential to lose a little bit of money, but I generally am successful. And then, oh yeah, so another option, especially when you have a low cash stack, so anywhere near like 10 mil or so, you can look into low value but high volume items. A good example of this would be like blood runes. Okay, so blood runes have a pretty slim margin, and the important thing here is the graph, not the most recent buy and sell price. You can ignore these for the high volume items, but the graph shows you that you're pretty likely to get a buy if you pick them up at 215. Okay, and then you sell them for probably 221. So if you sell them for 221, you're going to have a 2 GP tax, because it's 1% of 220 rounded down. So you sell them for 219, you bought them for 215. Okay, and that seems like a pretty shit profit, except that if you buy them at their buy limit, which is 25,000, you literally get 100K profit off of an item with a margin of only 4 GP. Right, so it adds up when you do the high volume items, and they require less bulky initial investment because 25K times the price we were going to buy them at, like 214, or no, sorry, it's 215, is only 5.3 mil, right? 5.4 nearly, but that is not bad. Other common examples of this are like Revenant Ether. Here, I'll write these down. Of high volume, Revenant Ether, cannonballs, darts, bolts, Zulra scales, Ancient Essence. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. And then examples of low volume clue items. Pretty cut and dry, you'll have to explore on your own. Okay, another thing that will help you kind of set up for these trades is using the filter feature on, what is this called? On Prices RuneScape Wiki. So you go to all items, nearly 4,100, right here. You apply filters, and there's only a few filters that are actually important, okay? Depending on the amount of money you have, you're going to look at buy price. It looks like my gilded boots just bought. Let's put them up for the price we said we were going to. Oh, we said we were going to throw it at $20.79. They'll sell later. Okay, so anyway, you're going to set your filters using your buy price depending on the amount of cash you have, and you're going to set your daily volume depending on the type of item you're looking for. So what I typically do with around a 10 mil cash stack, and we'll start there because that's the best starting point, but I'll show you guys the 1 mil method in a little bit. So with a 10 mil cash stack, I usually look up items with a buy price of a minimum of 20K. Okay, that gets out all of your little ticky-tack items, potions and foods and stuff like that. And then max of, like, let's say 1 mil. I like to go 2 mil. Let's go 2 mil instead, actually. Do I have the right amount of zeros? I hope so. And then you're going to go to a daily volume and do a minimum of 50, because that gets out your like third age and like weird shit like that. And then a max volume of 2,000 a day. Once you get past 2,000 a day, item prices tend to be a lot more stable, and their margins only really cover the tax for selling them, so you likely won't end up profiting too much. Okay, so once you set that volume, the min-max buy price, volume filters, you did min-max buy price and min-max daily volume, you've got a 10-page list. I show more and it gives me less pages. You can also sort these by column. So if you just want to look really quickly, toggle it by margin from highest to lowest. Okay, this Dragonstone full helm, holy cow. This is not a good one, okay, because we can see the margin just spiked randomly, but it does have a 700K margin now, so that's pretty impressive. Something annoying is that it does reset every time you go back to this page, but that's fine. Something to keep an eye on is how recently it was bought, because like this was bought 8 fucking hours ago. There's no way this margin is holding up right now. Some lucky fucking dude got this for 350K. Yep, it's one dot. That's the only time it's sold anywhere nearly that low. So that's another non-reliable one. But anyway, look at your margins. Try to find an item that has a big margin and that you can take advantage of. Okay, so what I would use, I think, 12K. Man, this looks pretty good actually. Damn, it's another spike. That's unfortunate. Spirit, fucking kidding me. Wow, Drake's Claw, another spike, man. See, this is how you really do have to be vigilant. I mean, these can take a while to find creative ones. I'm trying to do it in real time rather than use ones I already know, just to show you guys my selection process. Wow, those seem, is that good? Oh, hell yes. Okay, now this is a healthy margin. Okay, all day long, this graph covers one day, by the way, all day long, these have had a minimum margin of like 100K, usually a little over. So what we're gonna do is we would favorite this item, and then we'll put in an offer for it real quick and see how it works out. So typically you want to analyze the trend. You're not going to be the lucky guy that gets it all the way down here, right? Not if you're flipping and you're trying to buy them in bulk. So I would go slightly above the lowest consistent offers. Let's call it 1.561K. All right, Huey 1.561,000. All right, and then we they instabought. Okay, hell yeah, and they instabought for cheap too, 1538. So I got it for right about here. And I am going to set them at just below this cluster right here. So 1645K. 1645K. And this is only buying one of them, by the way. Typically with a larger cash stack like the one I have, I would be buying them at their buy limit, but I'm just doing this for example's sake. Alright, we're going to sell it for 1628, which means for even one, we're going to make a 90K profit. That's pretty solid. But yeah, that was an entirely new flip to me. I had no awareness of that, and I just showed you guys kind of the basic searching process. Alright, so we're going to move on to the second method. I kind of already took too long on this one, so sorry about that. If you have any questions, please message me. The second method I'm going to call future prediction. Second method, future prediction / update merching. Okay. I'm going to keep this one quick because I don't like it. The main problem is that you need a really high starting cash stack, like 500 mil, a bill. This is for endgame players that have a money obsession and nothing else to spend their money on. But basically what they do is they watch Jagex's updates coming out and they stock up accordingly. Typically the best way to make money is to use high value items. So for example, when Huey Quaddle came out, the boss that makes these, he's a dragon based boss, and so he was weak to the lance. As soon as these players heard that the lance was going to be best in slot at new content, what they did in about September is they started buying out lances at like 58, 59 mil. And they held on to them until release day, sometime here, I guess that was late September. They held on to them until release day, and they were selling them for up to 74 mil. Imagine if you had 20 Dragon Lances at 58 mil. 20 times 58 million. Okay, that's 1.16 bill. That's a ton of cash. But I actually know players who have done this. But if you multiply, first we'll go to, we'll call it 73 million just to be conservative, times 0.99. Okay, times 20. 1.445 bill. I would say approximately 320 mil profit. So very high risk, very high reward, very high initial investment. The worst part is if you don't time it correctly, you stand to lose a lot. Painful learning process. Only recommend for advanced flippers. Okay, moving on. The third method. Okay, the third method is my absolute favorite one. it is, I mean, I don't hear players talk about it often, so I really believe I am doing something not a lot of people do. But basically, all of the items, actually, sorry, excuse me, not the dragon felling axe, but the items I just pulled out are for the third method, which I call 0 times. Okay, and what a 0 time is, so first off, they're not technically flips, but what we're doing is manipulating the GE to make money, so it counts. You really have to think outside the box for these. A lot of them I spent a few weeks like just brainstorming and discovering, but they are the most consistent profit out of any of the methods, and the easiest to achieve, right? Because the initial cash investment is not crazy high. So here's what we have. The only drawback initially is that some of them do have stat requirements. Okay, not the end of the world, but they have stat level or diary requirements, and I'm going to give you guys a list of the ones that require something. I'll tell you what the requirement is and what the activity is. Then I'll give you another list that has no requirements whatsoever except for a decently healthy cash stack, so like up to 10 mil, or as little as 10 mil. So, here we go. I'm just going to type them out. 1 Kandarin Elites, which allow you to do Mystic Smokestaffs and Zami Hostas. Alright. So I'm going to show you guys the Smoke Battle Staff versus I gotta clear the filters. Yep. Alright. So I'm going to show you what these do. Alright. So you can buy a Smoke Battle Staff, such as I have here, for 1.98 mil. Okay. And then, if you have the Kandarin Elite Diary done, you pay an NPC named Thormic. He's in the Scorpion Catcher quest. He's located in the Sorcerer's Tower, which I have, you can teleport to with the Kandarin headgear. Okay. You bring a cash stack and you bring your Smoke Battle Staffs and you go talk to Thormic at the top of the Sorcerer's Tower. He has, you pay him 20k and you can convert a Smoke Battle Staff. Where was I just at? No, that was Twitch. Whoops. You can convert a Smoke Battle Staff to a Mystic Smokestaff for 20k. Alright. Talk to Thormic. Enchant my Battle Staff. I don't think anyone does this, by the way. You pay 160k for your 8 Battle Staffs. Head back to Varrock. Alright. Then, place up your Smoke Staffs for, I'm going to put mine for 2078. Okay. What the hell? Oh, whoops, typed in the friend chat. Okay. So anyway, that's how you profit off of those. The other method is Zami Hostas, which is the exact same thing, except you go talk to Otto Godblessed, and with the Kandarin Elite Diary done, he only charges you 150k to convert a Zami Spear into a Zami Hosta. Okay, and if you compare the two, I think I'm done with this for now. Yeah. If you compare the two, they have a 330k margin between them. Alright, and I'll do the quick math for you. Let's say I buy my Zami Spears at 3111. I multiply it. Whoops, excuse me. I do not multiply it. 3111, which I then add 150k to, and I multiply it by 8. Okay? And then I sell the Zamorakian and Hostas for 34.29 times 0.99 times 8. Okay? So I have used 157 minus 26,088. And I've made a profit of 1 mil off of 8 Zamorakian spears. The initial investment for this is about 25 mil, but it's an insane zero time. The Candor and Elites are required. Look up the stat requirements, grind for it if you can. I am not shitting you when I say the Candor and Elites alone have likely made me a bill. Yeah, my bank's at 3.33 bill right now, minus the cash I have with me. I guess I'm probably closer to 3.5. Yeah. Yeah, and when I started flipping, my bank was at 700 mil. Alright. So anyway, next we have fletching dragon crossbows. So, oops, that's number 2. 78 fletching to fletch dragon crossbows from dragon limbs. Alright. This one, you, as with a lot of them, you have to actually keep an eye on the margin, okay? I'm just going to go to my favorites here and show you guys what I see. So, I look at the dragon limbs, which are selling for $11.78, and the dragon crossbow, which is selling for $12.48, and I'm going to place an offer for dragon limbs at 1186k. Alright. I'll do like 20 of them because I have a pretty high cash tax, so dropping 20 mil on an investment is perfectly fine. And I'm going to sell them minus the tax afterwards, end up selling them for probably like a 40k profit each. Okay, and that's pretty solid. 40k profit times 20, I get like 800k off this 23 mil investment. That's pretty decent. Okay. So, and I need 78 fletching to craft them from scratch. You also need like magic logs to craft into the magic stocks, and then some crossbow strings, but those costs are negligible. Okay, 70 smithing to repair broken zombie axes. Here's a broken zombie axe. You can buy it for 1,470,000. And then a zombie axe you can sell for 1.64 mil. And that's like 130k profit each, and all you need is 70 smithing to go fix them with a hammer at an anvil. So zombie axe, smithing. I notice I'm running a little long, so I'm just going to type the rest out. Okay, 80 smithing for attaching God Sword shards, like the shards 1, 2, and 3 to each other, and then selling it as a whole blade. Got 86 crafting and 87 magic for crafting onyx jewelry and enchanting it. This is another one that is price dependent. You need to keep an eye on the price of the uncut onyx and the cut onyx, and whether or not the jewelry is far more expensive than they are. Right, so here's the cut onyx. So theoretically I could buy a cut onyx or an uncut onyx for 2411k. Buy like 10 of them, and then when they come in I cut them and I convert them to a regen bracelet, and I will have made 170-ish k per. No problem at all. And then 90 smithing. Oh, sorry, I'll go ahead. This one's kind of rare, but it still can apply occasionally. To attach Visage to anti-dragon shield and make DFS. Okay. Yeah, then the other ones, these are in-game ones, okay? This isn't like flipping, but especially with small cash stack, one, Varrock Diary, buying Zaf's battle staffs at 8 p.m. every day. Okay. Two, Kingdom of Miscellanea, super slow money doubler. Alright. Check it like once every couple weeks and put money in when you can. You can invest a max of 7.5 mil. So whenever you have like 50 mil or above, go ahead and throw 7.5 in there and check it every couple weeks. Put your money on, or sorry, your resource allocation on mahogany. I think that's your best bet. Mahogany and herbs. Okay, so 3 is herb runs. I'm sure you guys know about these already, but yeah, they are helpful. I mean, 200 to 400k profit every few hours when you're diligent. I'm not going to teach you about herb runs. I'm sure you guys already know. Okay, then there are some no requirement 0 times that I'm just going to rattle off. Okay, so 1, swapping accursed scepters. 2, attaching felling axe handles. 3, creating armor sets, like barrows, god D hide. 4, filling, what do they call them? Powered staffs with runes and selling at full. Okay, and then 5, attaching godsword hilts to blades. Alright, all of these are no requirements, no skill requirements. You can buy the items off the Grand Exchange, change them accordingly, and then sell them back. This is another one you just have to be mindful of the margins on, but you still just keep an eye out and you'll get the hang of it. Okay, the Accursed Scepters one is one of my favorites. I actually had some bought that I can try it with, but Accursed Scepter, like, who has any clue about this? Bought them for $27.11 each. Let me check what they are at. So, $28.05, right? This is an Accursed Scepter AU. Notice here how these are 2 different items. All you have to do is right-click the Accursed Scepter AU, swap it, and it is now an Accursed Scepter U. Okay? And all this actually changes is the spellbook that you can autocast from when you're using the Accursed Scepter. But basically they are 2 tradable items, which means you look between them, see whichever one is lower, buy it at this low amount, swap it to the higher amount margin, and believe me, they are often way more different than 4K, okay, but I'm just working with what I can see right now. Anyway, you swap it to the higher margin version of itself, and you're now selling back a different item, hence the name 0 time. You spend 0 time doing it, but you are actually converting something, right? I'm probably going to sell these for $27.99. Okay, so now I've covered all the flipping methods and I've given you all the 0 time methods. Okay, now for kind of general tips. Alright, first off, let me write them all down. 1, don't be unrealistic. Okay, don't be stubborn and try to recover your money. If you fucked up, give yourself a 24-hour limit, then cut your losses. Your money can be best used elsewhere if you reinvest it quickly enough, right? Okay, second general tip, use filters on Wiki. Alright, do not forget about filters. They are your best way to find creative new ideas on what to flip. Using the filters I told you, remember you've got buy price and sell price. I mean, they're no different from each other. You can use either row, whichever you feel like. Buy price and daily volume. Those are the only two filters you actually need to manipulate. All right. Use filters. Thirdly, use the favorites list. All right. This is so you don't have to do any memory work. Every time you click on an item, you can, I'll make this longer so it's easier. Every time you click on an item or just find a new one, you can add the heart to it and it will add itself to your favorites list. Okay, if I go to all items, it shows them with an empty heart next to them, and all I have to do is click favorite, go onto my favorites, and a powdered wig is now there, right? So utilize the favorites list. Oftentimes I don't even explore new items because I have so many on here that typically I can find something or other to invest in. So use the favorites list. 4, do not forget the 1% sales tax. Okay, this can make or break a flip, so just don't forget it. All right. Buy limits. I never bothered to understand buy limits until I started flipping, but buy limits reset every 4 hours. So for example, I am buying, these have a buy limit of 70, by the way, which will never happen, but the second my first limbs bought, my 4-hour counter started. 4 hours from that point is when I am eligible to buy another 70 dragon limbs. I'll show the buy limit on the wiki as well, just to like highlight it a bit, but dragon limbs buy limit is, oh, it's actually 10,000, my god. So yeah, in 4 hours I will be eligible to buy another 10,000 of these, which obviously daily volume 354, that's not happening. And then last tip, sort of, it's a two-parter. At low cash stacks, bang for your buck is better than flat profit. Okay, and what this means is when your cash stack is less than 10 mil, you need to be making investments based on what percentage of your investment becomes a profit. So a 1 mil investment with a 150k profit is better than a 5 mil investment. Better than a 5 mil investment for a 300k profit. Alright, and what this means is you're just utilizing your money the best way possible, right? You're utilizing it most efficiently. It also allows you to diversify. Okay, when you get up to I would say like 50 mil plus, alright, so 50 mil plus, you're looking at investment freedom. Alright, you can invest how you want. It's okay to diversify. You can drop 20 mil on one investment for like a 500k profit, and that's very much worth it, because when your cash stack gets big enough, you're kind of, flat profit becomes the most efficient way to flip, right? Typically all of my offers right now equate to about 80 mil. This is a little plugin you can use. I forget what it's called. It's just like Grand Exchange or something. Yeah. But this is how much I have currently active in the Grand Exchange. And I've pretty much invested in everything I'd be interested in, right? So 79 mil, I have utter financial freedom. So I'm going to end this video. This is going to be the first one. and then I'm going to do a second video that has a just examples, and I'm just going to be thinking out loud while I do them. Hopefully this video gave enough examples, but please PM in game with any questions. So, yep, that is it. Peace.